Your biggest problem is not some kind of information that you have yet to come across. It's your lack of authenticity. This is how I intend to authentically document my journey. I'm just walking around right now in the middle of the night. It's literally 12:21, okay? You guys might have a hard time seeing that on my watch, but walking around my lady's neighborhood because this is a video that should have been filmed immediately when I had the inspiration, okay? So I'm going to take that opportunity right now. Recently, off a series of posts that I made, which were heavily scripted and came off way too forced and with the notion that I somehow had to come off in a particular way for my audience, ends right now. The truth is, I have yet to even get my first client as an online coach. I do not have the external markers of success that I aim to reach. And it bothered me so much that I literally psychologically manipulated myself through my content and through Instagram stories, etc., to convince, or rather persuade myself that I am already successful. Does that mean that my content was not authentic? No. That just means that the first layer of the work had to be done in order for me to move on to the next layer. First 30 days of me doing this was just putting in the reps and creating a habit of putting myself out there more than I've been used to. And that's exactly what I've done. I have made more posts, more authentic pieces of content than I ever have in my entire life. And that would not have been possible if I didn't pull the trigger, pay for mentorship, actually start applying what I was learning, and actually begin to act like I wanted this as bad as I wanted to breathe, because that's true. However, even in the infancy stage that I'm still in, I encountered one of the biggest battles from God, or tests rather, that I completely transmuted, overcame like an absolute bull. From the posts that I've been making, particularly ones that my shirt was off, there was also another that I stood next to a Corvette, cussed in it, told people to surround yourself by items and people that psychologically convince you that you are the kind of individual that you would like to be, which I would love to instill and have everybody watching me apply to their own lives. However, my family, my lady's family, didn't like that. They don't like how I came off. And really, it was their concern disguised under cowardism, because they did not come up to me and tell me a single thing. They did not confront me about any kind of thought that they had, or even gave constructive criticism to my face, but instead chose to have my women take the brunt of it. And I don't care if they watch this, because I am not a coward. I stand on everything that I speak about, and I am fully authentic and bold in my beliefs and my approach, which some might not agree with, but I'm not for everybody. I'm for the people that resonate and align with my particular message. And lately, I've been experiencing what I've coined as spiritual fracture. This occurs when your philosophy is put to the test in how you carry yourself. I was stuck in between a rock and a hard place. And this is pertaining towards what I do for work. Because as you know, this is a testimony to the fact that I am taking coaching serious. And this is going to be my ticket to success. The success that I believe myself to be capable of reaching. However, I also have a trucker's license. I also have a ticket underneath my belt to literally weasel my way into anywhere from 50K to 100K a year salary, like that. And I've been very conflicted. So conflicted, in fact, it's been causing a lot of turmoil inside of me and preventing me from posting. Been preventing me from creating YouTube videos and really putting in the reps that I know for a fact is a non-negotiable. Because to go deep on one thing means to subtract energy from another. And in order for me to get out of this rut that I've been in with what I do for work, just at a shitty warehouse driving a yard hostler for peanuts, surrounded by individuals that lack a growth mindset and are just utter degenerates that I literally have to toy around with every single day just to keep my own sanity. Excuse me if you're one of those that watch this, but also too, you need to understand the truth, because otherwise you're never ever gonna breach past the exact type of individual I just described. So you're actually doing yourself a favor if you're watching this right now. I digress. So I was thinking, man, should I really just bite the bullet and increase my job outreach? Should I really just go over the road? I have my Class A, have my hazardous materials endorsement. I've been clean from marijuana for long enough to not have it not show up in a hair follicle drug screening, which most trucking companies administer because it's a federal line of work. You are working hand in hand with the Department of Transportation, the DOT, which gives you your ability to even drive commercially. So I was in between that thought, and I was really just thinking, like, fuck, man, if I go deep on that, I'm going to have to sacrifice a lot of energy put into coaching, which is really just a means to an end. No line of work is going to do what this is going to do for me, not even close. And I was talking to one of my good friends about it. Coincidentally, that conversation was today. And a few days ago, he called me to outline a spiritual fracture or a mental fracture, whatever label you want to put on it, of his own. And this was pertaining to a transition of a line of work that he wants to make, in which I outlined the problem, in essence, was the fact that he was splintering himself into many different things, which prevented him from making a decision. Analysis paralysis, if you will, which turned into a very valuable conversation, and actually one of the most beautiful conversations I've ever had with him. And if he's watching, he'll also agree with that. And it allowed me to discover that part of my psyche and that part of everyone's psyche that has that capacity to splinter itself when it is put up in a position where you are forced to make a decision. Otherwise, you will just stagnate, and stagnation is death. If you are not improving, you are not excelling your mission, who you are, your beliefs, you are dying slowly. There is no in between. Allowed me to realize that that's an edge that I gained in order to coach others. Because little do they know, everybody that I come into contact with, I'm subtly influencing them, because I look at everything from the coach's mind frame. I'm literally coaching people that don't even know they're being coached by me, and helping them discover their own patterns that prevent them from breaching past who they once were. And in order to accomplish that, I have to consistently coach myself every day, in and out. And what I used to do is, what I used to do was believe that there was some form of information I've yet to discover, either through some kind of book, podcast, already successful mentor that was going to give me the answer to my problems. But the truth was, I really just needed to pull the band-aid off myself. I really just needed to start applying the information, the knowledge that I already knew was true. And that in itself led me to actually pull the trigger on just having one mentor, which you really won't take serious unless you put skin in the game. And that was this month. And it really accelerated the rate at which I made progress. I feel like I've made more progress in the last 30 to 60 days than I ever had in the last 2 years. Coincidentally, that's actually what made me pull the trigger on my specific mentor, because I remember 2 years ago he was making videos, and his accurate TL like a normal dude speaking about the things that he wanted to come to fruition and his dream life that he was curating in real time, authentically documenting his own journey. 2 years fast forward, I come across one of his videos by chance, scrolling through YouTube. This motherfucker's in a Ferrari SF90, living in Miami, has a 7-figure coaching business, literally excelled past probably what everybody thought he was actually going to. And it outlined the fact that, fuck, bro, there are people that have the answers and have applied the sauce that I do not have. And that same day, I bought his mentorship, bro. He essentially nurtured me for 2 years and didn't even know it. And that self-awareness allowed me to understand that this part of my journey is necessary. I need to authentically document my ongoings of how I'm going to get there before I even fucking taste a sliver of the success, because this is what people need to see. Me in the cold, literally walking around just so I can fluidly relay my thoughts across camera, talking about my problems and how to overcome them. Once again, I should have made this video immediately when I had the inspiration, but I was posting on my modules today, scrolling back through them to really take it all in, the things that I might have missed, and to actually apply them instead of just skimming through them, where I literally thought to myself, bro, today's the perfect day to do this, or night, because that same spiritual, I'm leaving that in the video because yes, I just got scared by that same dog because I didn't know it was behind a fence. But back on track, that same spiritual fracture that I was referring to, where I didn't know whether or not to deep dive on increasing my job outreach to ease some of my financial burden, or to just simply go all in and go deeper on coaching, which would solve my problem, if not more, got solved for me without me even asking. Because a job opportunity that I applied for probably about 2 to 3 weeks ago that I completely forgot and I actually had mentally checked out of because I felt like they just forgot about me, just hit me back. And I have a in-person interview in 1 day, because this is after 12 that I'm filming this. So that will be tomorrow, the 26th of November, that I know for a fact I'm gonna score, that perfectly meets in the middle for what I need. It allows me enough time, flexibility, and freedom to still go deep on coaching. It allows me to ease the financial burden that I've been having over my head, because what I currently do for work is like barely the bare minimum for what I can even be satisfied with in many different aspects. I literally absolutely hate and dread having to clock in every single day. I hate the fact that what I do, literally a monkey can be trained to do. And the people that are there, literally my job attracts the kind of folks that don't want anything else for themselves but to just have an easy, complacent life and just to escape reality outside of work. And it kills a part of my soul every single time I have to be around that. And not to say that that problem is going to be completely solved once I transition to this new position, but it is higher scale. It is with a more reputable company that I'm not going to specifically say out loud just yet, but it checks a lot of the boxes and it completely solved my problem, which leads me to say that your issues will be solved when they need to be solved and when God directs it and when you are ready for it. Sometimes you could have all the right information, you could even have the right execution, but the timing isn't correct. Sometimes the timing could be right, you could have the right information, but you execute it poorly. Sometimes you could have the right execution, right timing, but you don't even have the right information. But when opportunity is met with preparation, you get the phenomena of being quote unquote lucky. Because luck doesn't even really exist. Luck is merely a byproduct of being prepared when the right opportunity comes. So I'm just gonna wrap this video off by saying, oh, look at this little guy. This is Milo right here. He's gonna make a little cameo in the video. Yeah, he's our little Flame Point Siamese kitty. That guy's a little bully, bro. He keeps down our pests, and he's like that neighborhood gangster for real. Literally goes around other houses and just to eat their food and punks other cats. But the point is, put your faith in Christ above all else, because that's really what will get you out of any rut, is Christ and committing harder. You do that, you will move mountains. You will accomplish things that will surprise you even. I love you guys. Stay steadfast, stay safe, and remember that this is only the beginning. Much more to be given, much more to get, and much more to see from me, because I just want to inspire a generation. I really want to have a absolutely killer elite group of individuals that are doers and not just thinkers. So I'm gonna leave this video off with that, and you'll catch me in the next video.